is Dionisio. I'm from the company called Mad Travel or Mad Earth. We do environmental restoration projects, and we do our best to maintain them through products, as you can see, and through ecotourism programs. And many times these ecotourism programs are very educational. So some of your neighbors here in BGC actually work with us, such as British Schools Manila, ISM, Chinese International. They come on educational programs with us because all high school students today are studying what you're doing, sustainable development goals, right? And how do we synchronize the environment and the economy so that they match rather than you get one at the cost or at the expense of the other, right? So the title of our program today is called Feast in the Forest. Right? I always prefer to bring people to visit a local forest, but if we can't, we'll bring the best of the forest to you. Right? So later at the end of this, it's basically a tea tasting, coffee tasting, and honey tasting. Right? It will feature 3 flavors of organic honey, all from different flowers, 3 varieties of coffee from different mountain ranges, and then 3 kinds of tea. Right? Something good for your loose bowel movement, something good for your hair, and something good for your blood pressure. Right? So just to give you a basic story, what we do is dedicated to the youth because we need to look forward. Right? These are 2 of my friends' kids, Myra and Lydian, who are Aitas from Zambales. For those from other countries, the Aitas are the oldest ethnic group in the Philippines. Right? And perhaps I'll start with this. Indigenous knowledge or perspective is, I think, where we're headed to today. So here in this photo, there's a large company and indigenous tribe negotiating over development. And in that story, the tribe says, "Sir, we like development, but development for us also means taking care of our land and our bodies of water." A mindset which is not yet the most common thought in business today. But I think clearly here, in Tetrapak, it is, and we hope that more follow soon. Right? We're experiencing climate crisis in real time. It's raining, but it's supposed to be El Nino. The world's climate's very confused, right? And one of the things that makes it worse for us is the destruction of forest, connecting to the forest certification. For the Philippines, when we were purchased by the US from Spain for $20 million in the year 1900, part of that deal was because of the resources we had. And if you check the Senate minutes, it's one of the senators talking to the president of the US at the time. He said, "Mr. President, the Philippines has lumber to last generations." And generations it did. Right? But today, this is where we're at. Right? And one of the big effects is that if you don't have trees, it gets hot. That's very simple, right? You can see here, no trees, 33, with trees, 33 degrees, no trees, 66. You may feel that effect in some parts of BGC, right? Because we've got a lot of cement in our area. But it's also nice that there's a lot of trees growing, more so than most places in the Philippines, right? The other part is water. When you lose trees, you lose the ability to retain water. So some of the rivers in the Philippines and around the world have lost up to 75% of water, right? How does that, and that's pretty difficult. Without the absorptive capacity of trees for water, you also get more floods, right? Who here has experienced a flood before? Can you raise your hand? A few? Oh, okay, more than half. Okay, thank you for sharing, right? One of my friends, Anjo, who's in the black, he lives by a river in Marikina, which tends to overflow when the rain is very strong. And so planting for him in particular is a direct way to prevent flood in his own home. Right? Category 4 storms look like this. They look like a faucet from heaven. Right? And the surplus or lack of water hits farmers. So one story, we work with farmers in Lobo, Batangas. There are rice terraces there. And 30 years ago, they used to harvest rice 3 times a year, 3 crops. Today, it's 1.5. The first season, they lost because there's not enough water. The second season, they lost because if there's a storm, it's dead. So the second crop is 50-50, right? And if you're a farmer or any company and you lose half your revenue, that's a disaster. And that's the disaster that is here today that we need to really be mindful of. Right? So to give you a perspective of the water management ability of a forest, I prepared this video. So it shows, it's a mimicry of two mountains. This mountain, or this planter box, has no plants. This one has plants. Watch what happens when you pour water over both of them. It's as if you are mimicking rain, right? So on the left side, water comes from the top. It flows down very quickly. That's a landslide. That's a flash flood. And if you're a farmer, all your topsoil, which has all your fertilizer, is coming down. So you'll need to re-fertilize. If you're here, look at that. The water is barely trickling out from the bottom, which means the water has time to go back into the aquifer, where we get most of our fresh water, right? Or if you've got a manual pump, you might have experienced that in your childhood or until today, that's where the water comes from. You don't have the forest beside your land, this doesn't happen, right? And the other side of it is during the summer, this will continue to flow as most forested mountains do. That's why you have streams, rivers, and waterfalls in the forest. Right? That's what provides it. Each tree, large ones, can hold up to 2,000 liters of water in the root system alone. So if you have 500 trees in 1 hectare and 2,000 liters per tree, that's 1 million liters easily. Right? So, just to continue, the water crisis, whether too much or too low, you're affected by this. And it's also getting hot. In Florida, the temperature in the water was 37 degrees. Can you imagine? That's your body temperature. That's the water temperature in Florida. In Casiguran, Aurora, anyone here from Aurora province, 60-degree heat index. It's the first time I've ever seen 60 in the Philippines. Right? And these are issues that are connected to how we manage resources, which is again why having forums like this, so that every one of us understands how our business, how our decisions, how the strategic direction can affect the life of your nieces, your nephews, your kids, your younger friends. Right? And so for Matt, we focus on 4 things. We focus on community, nature, personal well-being, and economy. They must come together, right? You can't have one without the other. And so the story I want to share connects to Zambales, which is home of the Aitas, also heavily deforested and then buried in 50 feet of ash when Mount Pinatubo erupted in 91. Mount Pinatubo is the world's largest recorded ashfall. 17 meters of ash is no joke, right? I mean, floods here only reach 8 meters. What more if it's volcanic ash? So here, our goal is to reforest 4,000 hectares. That's the ancestral domain of the Aitas. So it's their land. We're helping them get there. And this is what it looks like right now, full of ash. So we started by setting up an eco tour there so that we could always visit, so that we could help them plant trees. So here are some snapshots of what that might look like. Jess and Anjo were recently there over a week ago. Right? And you can enjoy the cultural aspect of pre-colonial culture, as well as learn about different herbal remedies, including some of the teas that we have today, right? Eat with them, right? And then you get to plant as many trees as you like. So the thing is, we came there thinking we were there to help and to teach them, but in reality, they also helped and taught us. And perhaps the most valuable lesson we learned from them was about money, right? And about seeds. So we come in with 20 guests. We're like, okay, chieftain, we're gonna pay you about a few thousand pesos. Basically, what they would take a month to earn, they could earn in a day. That's the power of tourism. That's why everybody likes to go into tourism. And instead of saying, okay, give me the money, he says, sir, no, don't give me the money. And I'm shocked. So I'm thinking, but chieftain, we brought in so many people. Why am I not gonna pay you? I don't understand. And then he said, if you give me money today, I might spend it on cell phone credits, on 3-in-1 coffee, or on cigarettes. None of that will last us long. It's not sustainable. Hindi namin mapapakinabangan ng matagal. So I said, so what do you want? And so he replies, if you're really coming back, and if you want to have a long relationship with us, bring us seeds. Because if you look at our land, it's 4,000 hectares, but empty. If you bring me seeds, we're only going to plant it. And even if they're stolen, the thief will probably plant it in the next farm, right? And the kids, the youth in our village, in our town will benefit from that. So he was telling us that there's more to help than just giving financial support. You can get us things that we know how to grow and manage. Right? And so what we did is we got two categories of seeds. The first category of seed was for planting in the forest and to help that water system grow back. And the second was about livelihood and food. So here are the results so far since 2017 when we started planting. So that they can take care of the environment, but also take care of their livelihood. It actually might be my internet connection. I am not sure. Check it out. It's okay. So we took inspiration from trends in the US. We made purple yam chicks. That sold very well. And then we started measuring different things. The temperature difference inside the forest and outside, much bigger, 13 degrees. And as trees came in, flowers should bloom, and when flowers bloom, you get bees. And when you get bees, you get honey. So during lockdown, we couldn't physically visit, so we asked neighbors to help us monitor how plants were growing. But the nice part is that these elders, senior farmers, were able to go there to buy a farm, and now citrus farm. Cashew, we have a shortage of cashew in the Philippines. Most of the antipolo cashew is from Vietnam. But we grow very good cashew in volcanic ash because cashew likes the heat, right? So those are just some success stories of working with smallholder farmers. The best part, we didn't need a lot of money to do it because we started picking up seeds. We started looking around, what can we give them, right? And at some point, they started earning. They're already earning the day. In fact, cashew is in such high demand in Zambales, I can't even buy it for myself because they're selling it all already. And that's the nice part, you know. So communities can grow many things that are useful. They also grow things that are delicious, right? And perhaps the message I want to impress on you guys is that if you have a strong environment, it becomes the root system or, you know, the stabilizing factor in a strong economy, right? And so what grows in the forest? These are some of the things that you're going to taste today, right? So coffee, honey, and tea, right? There are 4 kinds of coffee. You're going to try 3 today, right? The 3 you're going to try are Arabica, Robusta, and Liberica. Right? Liberica is what is known as Barako from Batangas. I'm assuming most Filipinos here have tried Barako already because it's the national identity of our coffee. Right? So just very quickly, Arabica is a highland crop, 2,000 meters above sea level. It is the world's most popular drink. I'm betting the coffee machine you have is Arabica. Right? And the caffeine content, 2/5. Right? Robusta is different. Robusta is what most of our instant coffee is made with. Right? Nescafe, great taste, right? And it's majority of our coffee production in the country. Caffeine content is twice as high as Arabica. It's also relatively cheaper, right? And the aroma is very nice. And then Liberica. Here in the Philippines, Liberica is the cheapest, but around the world it's actually the most expensive because it only accounts for 2% of global supply. 2%, right? And so you've got something very interesting in front of you, right? The flavor is also earthier, stronger. That's why you get the Barako, right? For our friends from other countries, Barako literally means male stud, right? Pertaining to its stronger flavor versus Arabica, right? So yeah, this is just to give you an idea of like what's growing in our country today, right? And coffee must grow in the shade of other trees. If it gets full sunlight, it doesn't grow as well. It gets what you call heat stress. Right? It's not like cashew or citrus that wants full sunlight. And that's why you've got coffee that is rainforest certified, in the same way that you've got tea that is rainforest alliance certified, because certain crops want to be part of that within that ecosystem. Right? Honey is a different thing. The world's most popular honey is probably Manuka. It's so expensive, right? But we can grow the same thing here. And the honey is linked to bees, which are majority of the pollinators in the world. Right? So later, Anjo and Jess in the back will let you try the different kinds of honey. Please smell them before you try it because the smells are different as well. Right? Honey comes from different flowers. So if you know the Macahia, the bashful mimosa, light colored. If you go for a pitong or nara tree, darker color of honey. Right? And the flavors are also different. And we've got a lot of different bees here. So the bee variety also changes honey flavor in scent and color. Right? So honey is basically one of the most healthy forms of sugar. And the interesting here is that it actually helps heal wounds. Right? It has that antiseptic property. Right? So the honey you're about to taste might be a little different from what you're used to because it's very raw. It's unprocessed, right? In that sense. And then last are teas, right? If anyone here has blood pressure or has someone in their family has high blood pressure, banaba, tea is good, right? That will help. Bamboo leaf tea, also very nice. Not popular in the Philippines, but popular in other parts of Asia. It is good for strong hair and nails. So that is very useful. I've given a lot to my dad. And then mango leaf tea. So we all know that mango, we love mango, and if you eat a lot of mango, you go to the toilet. The leaf has the opposite effect. It will kind of control that feeling so that you don't have to go, right? So these are just some of the things that, these are some of the things that you get to try this morning, right? And then there's avocado. Is the avocado leaf tea there? We have avocado leaf tea also. This one's a little different. It's a little bitter compared to the other kinds of tea, right? But it does have a lot of benefits as well, right? So something for you to try. Actually, I only tried it because the indigenous elders made us try it. They cooked it for us. But to them, it's just medicine. For us, tea is pleasure. For them, tea is medication. Right? So there's a difference there. Okay. So that's why I think it's important for us to know and understand what comes out of the forest. Because at the end of the day, if you understand, then you take care of it. Right? And so please enjoy the different things to taste. And I hope you learned a little something. Okay? Thank you. If you'd like to start trying, please just go to Anjo. Oh.
Kanya-kanyang try.
Kanya-kanya.
So you can just go to there and you can